What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Come On and Console. My name is Jason. Today we're talking about my picks for the most underrated PS4 games. The first game is a game I don't own physically. I only have it digitally, and I don't think it ever actually got a physical release. It is a retro-inspired first-person shooter called Strafe. You have the artwork right there. Now, Strafe is a really cool kind of, take you back to those days of Quake, of Duke Nukem, Doom, and be a kind of like a maze-like kind of first-person shooter where you've got to get to the end. This game is more kind of rogue. It's got kind of rogue-like elements to it, some rogue elements to it. The shooting is really satisfying. The progression is a lot better than it was when it came out. And when it came out, I was a bit unsure of where the progression was and how you would actually progress in the game. And a lot of people, me included, didn't really get through the first area without failing a lot. This game is another one of those games where you will die a lot and you have to restart the same kind of zone a lot to progress. But I feel like this game, in today's state, because it has been patched a lot, is much better. Progression's a lot easier to attain. The game is a lot more understandable in terms of what you have to do to actually progress through a level and actually get through a zone. Really fun shooting. I think it's great. I think it's got that old school vibe to it as well. It's got loads of like filters to make it look even more retro when it concerns like 90s FPS. But yeah, Strafe is definitely a game that's not really spoken about these days. It wasn't really that very well fond of when it came out. People didn't think it was that great. It had an amazing marketing push for it as well, which some would argue is better than the game, but I digress there. Anyway, Strafe is definitely an underrated shooter on the PS4, and I do recommend it these days. I think it's fun. If you're into those old school retro style shooters like Quake, Doom, Duke Nukem, this one is similar to those, but maybe not as refined as those are, and it is a procedure generated game and a bit of a roguelike, so it's a little bit different in there. But yeah, that's a good one. That's Strafe. The next game on the list might be the game that I might be the biggest fan of. I remember when it came out, people were super hyped about it, and it just fell off a cliff when it came out. People would say that it looked super next gen for the time, and it was going to be like the biggest game ever at the time. It turns out it wasn't that to a lot of people. But for me, I picked up maybe a year after it came out, and I just rinsed it. I absolutely love this game. I think it's great. Might be probably my favourite open world crime game. I'm talking about Watch Dogs. I might be the biggest fan of this game because I absolutely rinsed this game. I got the DLC and rinsed that. Arguably the DLC might even be better than this main campaign. But yeah, I love this game. I love all the hacking abilities. The open world's fun to explore. The way you can kind of hack phones as you walk around, and you can just like discover crimes happening, and you can go and save people and like disrupt certain things that are going on. It's really good. It's really fun. I like it a lot. Replaying some of it recently for this video, I just got rolled back into it. I could have played a lot more of this as well. I might even go back and play the whole thing at some point. But yeah, love this one when it came out. A lot of hatred when it came out. It was like one of those defining games that did not meet the hype when it came out. Similar to games like No Man's Sky, which had all the hype in the world when that was announced. And the marketing material for that had all the hype behind it. Watch Dogs was the same as that. It had loads of marketing material behind it. It was started to be like the big PS4 game, the big next gen game to come out at the time. And loads of things kind of didn't really come to pass with it in terms of its visual fidelity and its gameplay. The gameplay was nowhere near as kind of what the marketing material would have you believe, unfortunately. But as it stood, as it came out, I still think it's a great open world game. I love it. I think it's woefully underrated, and I feel like if you pick it up now, you can pick it up for £1 now. It's a super cheap game nowadays. Go and pick it up, give it a second shot. What is it, like 11 years old now, 10 years old, something like that? Go and check it out. I think it's well worth the money. That's Watch Dogs. Awesome game, super underrated. Go and check that one out. The next game on this list is a action RPG by the guys over at Spiders. Spiders might be one of those kind of really ambitious studios that I really like. I've liked the majority of their games so far, and I feel like they get better and better as they go along. And I remember this game coming out and just not getting much fanfare. It got the kind of average review scores as you could kind of like expect, 6 or 7 out of 10s from places. But I feel like it deserves a lot more than that, because I feel like the overall RPG mechanics and systems and the combat is where this game shines to me. This game is called Bound by Flame. I really love this game and the actual kind of story it tells. The mechanics are really cool. You could kind of see it has kind of like it's kind of got a Dragon Age vibe to it that I really do enjoy, especially when it concerns characters and the story and the overall vibe. You can tell they've taken a lot of inspiration from Dragon Age, especially the original Dragon Age, into this game. You can definitely tell it. Some people would argue it's got some light Souls inspiration in there, but I don't really see that too much. I feel like it's just got some heavy difficulty spikes maybe halfway through the game. Some people call that Souls-like. I don't. Difficulty doesn't define Souls for me. There's other elements that define Souls-like. So this is not a Souls-like in my opinion. This is just an action RPG. Very inspired by Dragon Age in my opinion. And yeah, it's about your character. You get to create your character in the beginning. It's about your character. You're part of this clan called the Blades. And yeah, you get possessed by a demonic entity. And then you basically get powers, mostly powers of fire, hence why Bound by Flame, because you've got this demon inside you. It's got a morale system where you can go and be good and you can kind of like suppress the demon, or you can just like listen to the demon and become really evil. And that's where you gain most of your powers, is by kind of like letting the demon side of your character kind of come out and kind of bargain you with powers. It's actually quite cool. This game is really fun. The combat is where it shines. I love the combat in this game. It's so much fun to fight shit. And yeah, I think it looks great for the time. And yeah, I feel like I said, spiders, man. Spiders. You see the logo there. For me, one of my favourite RPG developers at the moment. Very kind of their ambition can't quite meet their budgets, I'm assuming. Because if you play any of their previous RPGs, they've definitely got that issue where they've got loads of great ideas, but they haven't really got the money or the resources to really push those ideas to make them great. Mars Warlogs, which was the prequel to Technomancer, being probably their weakest game, but I still found fun in it. Technomancer being one of my favourites. Bound by Flame being fantastic as well. Then you've got stuff like Still Rising, which is their Souls-like attempt. And then you've got Greedfall and the upcoming Greedfall 2. Greedfall is arguably their best game in terms of quality and in terms of like them actually finally finding the peak of their abilities. But I feel like games like this, like Bound by Flame, that are kind of stepping stone for them actually progressing as a studio. So don't sleep on this one. I think it's a very competently made, very fun action RPG that I feel like loads of people can have a lot of enjoyment from. I love the story. I love the mechanics, like I said. There's a lot here to like, and I feel like you guys might enjoy yourselves. That's Bound by Flame. The next game on this list is a game that I've only really kind of gotten into in the last maybe 6 months or so, and I'm actually surprised how much I really like this game and how much it actually got me into the whole world of this universe. When this game was announced, loads of hardcore fans of the original series from the late 90s kind of sighed in unison. Nowhere near as hardcore as those early games, but it is a really fun stealth game. And it is Thief, the 2014 reboot. I really like this game, guys. I think this game is a great stealth game, and it gets addictive where you can go into houses and steal like jewelry and stuff, and like staying in the shadows and going through a mission of like stealing certain items and not being seen is really satisfying. Combat is limited, and the game does kind of encourage not going into combat, because you die very quick in this game if you're not careful. And that's what I like about this game. It's really strictly a stealth game. You can die super quick if you're not hiding in the shadows and using distractions at will and stuff. It's very cool. I know that hardcore Thief fans would kind of like write this game off because the earlier games apparently are very hardcore stealth games. This is obviously streamlined to be more accessible to the wider audience, but I think it's a great underrated PS4 title for me. I think it has a lot to like in it. The stealth is great, like I said. The visuals look amazing for the time. I still think they look amazing now, to be honest. I feel a lot of these games from 10 years ago, a lot of these earlier PS4 titles still hold up visually, in my opinion. And I think that kind of helps with this one because it's all about that kind of stealth vibe, and I like where you're in this kind of I'm assuming like 1800s kind of time period, so it's got that kind of Victorian vibe in it as well, and I love that in games. I love that old Victorian kind of gothic kind of aesthetic, and this has got it in spades. Yeah, love this one. I think it's great. I think it's underrated. I think it got fairly okay reviews when it came out, but like I said, a lot of people, especially hardcore Thief fans from back in the day, they took a massive sigh when this was announced. I think reboots tend to do what reboots are meant to do, which is kind of attract a wider audience, and I think Thief is definitely a game for that. I think it definitely ticks those accessible boxes, right? If you want a really fun stealth game that's not too hardcore like the earlier games, but you want something that's a bit more manageable, this game is awesome. But it allows you to customize your experience throughout. You can actually really go into these difficulty settings and customize every aspect of this game, which I think is great for a game of this caliber. So if you want that super ultra hardcore experience like the original Thief games, you can tailor your experience to that. And I think more games should have that kind of, you know, customize your difficulty kind of aspect to them. Because, you know, sometimes when a game's too easy, it doesn't feel that fun. But like when you crank it up just that sweet spot of difficulty to have a bit of a challenge, and it actually makes it fun. So I like the fact that this has got that option in there. But that is Thief, really underrated for me. Go and check it out. Definitely worth a play. This next game is a game that I was very surprised that I liked it so much, because it's a sequel to a game that I didn't like that much. But it's even more surprising that this game actually got shat on completely back in the day. 4 out of 10s, 3 out of 10s, some really bad reviews. And I remember buying this quite a lot late after it came out for not a lot of money. I think I picked this up for about maybe £2 or £3. And I was pleasantly surprised by how good this game is and how much I enjoyed myself with it, and I think it's really underrated to boot. It is Homefront: The Revolution. It's a semi-open world game where you're a kind of obviously like you're part of the rebellion against North Korea invading America, and they've taken complete control in this game, and you're like in this ragtag group of rebellion soldiers. You go out on missions to basically just cause havoc really on the North Korean soldiers and their plans basically. This game is really fun. The coolest thing about this game, I think, is that you don't just pick up new weapons. You can your weapon is modular, so when you change weapons, you don't just change weapon, you're like taking a whole piece off your gun and putting another piece on it. But it's like it's got a complete animation suite of these, like you're actually changing your weapon. The animations in this game are really cool, and yeah, I just think it's super fun. Loads of weapons to use in this, and I feel like it's a great first-person shooter overall. I feel like it's really cool. It's got some cool ideas. It's your usual kind of like take over outposts, destroy certain things in the world and stuff like that. It's your usual kind of open world-esque game. But I think this game has a lot going for it. I think it's really fun. The shooting's satisfying as hell. Like I said, the gunplay is really cool because, like I said, the guns are modular. So you've got a pistol, you can just change a pistol into a submachine gun, and then like change a submachine gun into a shotgun. But it's like it has awesome dedicated animations for those things. So you're probably going to see them on screen as well. But yeah, this game is sick. I can't express how much this game is awesome, guys. I don't know, 4 out of 10 just feels just super unnecessary. I understand though this game was a complete broken mess when it came out, so that probably leans to the bad reviews, but I can't help but love this one. This is definitely one you should pick up, guys. Like I said, it's about a £2, £3 game. It's super cheap right now. Yeah, it's been patched, so I didn't really experience any issues with my version of the game. So I'm sure all the issues that were on launch have been patched out by now. This game's getting on a good 10 years now, I think. So yeah, go and check this game out if you're into that kind of alternate history, interesting kind of storylines where a nation takes over another nation, hypothetically, and you're in like a resistance kind of fighter. This is awesome. I highly recommend it. That's Homefront: The Revolution. Now this is the last game on this list for underrated PS4 games. I originally put this game on to do some footage because I already was going to have this on the list because I knew that I like this game a lot and I think it's been fairly underrated. It didn't get very many good reviews at all back in the day. But I put it on to capture footage and I played the whole thing. I played through the whole game and I fucking loved it. It's called The Order. 1886. Alternate history, 19th century Victorian London, where an order is formed solely to hunt down werewolves. You've got a cool kind of reimagined weapons, futuristic weapons that definitely didn't exist in those times in real history, but in this game it did. I'm just going to say it out loud. This game for me has production values on the level of like The Last of Us. It's the full package, guys, this game. It's the full package in terms of visuals. The visuals are unreal. This game would go up against a modern title head to head with no problems. The only thing kind of letting it down on the visuals fronts is the resolution is not super high resolution, of course. But this game is amazing. This game is fantastic. I fucking love this game. I absolutely adored it. I was so sad when it ended because I always wanted to play more of it. It's basically a over-the-shoulder cover shooter. Very story driven. Very story driven. But I feel like the cover shooting is amazing. It feels great. Getting headshots is really satisfying. Just all the guns are really fun to use. Every single gun you get in there's a trophy to actually use every gun, and every gun is fun to use. I love this game so much. So underrated. It got barely a 5 out of 10 when it came out. The biggest crutch for this game is its length. I think back in 2014, 2015, a 5-hour game of this production quality at 60 or 70 pounds, whatever it was, 60 pounds, I think people felt like they weren't getting much value for their money back then. But when it's only a fiver in 2025, I think people could have a lot more positive things to say about this game, especially nowadays. And I think going back to it like I did really opened my eyes by how cool this game is. I love the story. I love, the order is like almost like the round table of King Arthur, kind of similar to that, but you're like the Knights of the Round Table. You're like the Queen's Knights. You're hunting down the werewolves. The story is just full of everything you can imagine from this kind of game. Corruption, backstabbing, betrayal, it's all in there, but it's just so much fun. It's so well realized, and I want this to get a sequel. I want someone to buy the IP, like maybe someone like THQ Nordic could buy the IP and give us a sequel. Hell, they're giving us a Darksiders 4 sequel, which I can't wait for because I love that series. So why can't they just buy the IP and give us a sequel? Because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and there's lots of kind of plot threads that are not kind of resolved at all. So it's kind of like there's so much more they can give us in this game that they just don't. And that's why I think it was a bit of contention back then, where it was a 5-hour experience at £60 and it wasn't a complete story. And I think that really kind of burnt people back in the day. It didn't help that it was hyped as fuck as well. Like a lot of these games were super hyped and didn't deliver per se, kind of like Watch Dogs. But I feel like with The Order, I feel like it's just such a great production. And I feel like just the overall over-the-shoulder shooting is awesome. And the actual world and the production and the art direction is so awesome to me that I just love just walking around and just looking at stuff. It is really a showpiece for the PS4, to be fair. And loads of people did say when it came out that it was a £60 tech demo, which I can see their point, but playing this in 2025, when I only picked it up for a fiver, and I only wanted to buy it just to capture footage, but I ended up playing the whole thing because I loved it. I feel like if you see the reviews from then and playing it now, you may look at their reviews and go, I kind of understand their points, but my God, do I love it. That's me right there. And yeah, I love the characters, I love the world. The Gothic Victorian London is so cool to explore in this game, and it's not even open world. That's the thing. They could do a sequel and it could do open world, and it could be really cool, because I feel like you could do this kind of production value really easily now and have it open world. This would be a sick open world game where you're just hunting down werewolves and stuff. It would be awesome because the shooting is really fun. It could just be an open world cover shooter, similar to if you've played Outriders, you know what I'm talking about. Similar to Outriders, which is more of a futuristic kind of otherworldly cover shooter. But yeah, this game, there's possibilities are endless for a sequel for this game, and I'm so bummed out we're not ever going to get one. But yeah, if I was going to pick an underrated game for PS4, The Order 1886. I liked it when I played it not long after it came out, and I like it even more now. after this replay. I understand why it didn't get the reception it truly deserves, in my opinion, back then. But I feel like if you just want a short experience with impeccable high production value, an awesome world to get you, sink your investment into, and some awesome characters to get behind, the old 86 is one of those top games for me. Absolutely underrated, deserved a lot more. I wish we got the planned trilogy that was already kind of ready to go, but yeah, unfortunately poor sales did not give us the complete story, and that what hurts the most. And that might put you off buying it because the story is incomplete, but I feel like the production design, the art direction, the world it is set in, and the actual gunplay and the shooting, I think kind of makes up for that, in my opinion. That's The Order 1886. So that is it, guys. Those are the games I've picked for the most underrated PS4 titles. Obviously, this is just one man's opinion. If you've got your picks, please drop them in the comments down below. Let me know what games you consider to be underrated. Maybe I've not played them, and maybe you can put them onto my radar and I can give them a shot. There's loads to pick from on PS4. I think PS4 might have just the most varied and diverse libraries in video games. Just all sorts of just genres and styles and art directions and all sorts of things you can actually experience on PS4. There's just an array of it. So these few picks here does not even touch the amount of underrated games that I could probably bring up. And like I said in a lot of these list reviews, part 2 could easily be done. But right now we're talking about these games, including one digital, which is Strafe. But yeah, these games, I think they're great. I think they're underrated. I think more people should go and play them. They are all dirt cheap. You know, The Order's a £5 now. Homefront is like a £2 game. Watch Dogs you probably can get for £1. A Thief is about a £3 game. And I think Bound by Flame is probably the more expensive one here at just under 10 quid, I think it is now. But yeah, these games aren't expensive. They're affordable. They're definitely worth playing. And they're definitely my picks for underrated PS4 games. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below for any of these games. And be sure to recommend your own underrated games in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Can't thank you enough for all the support. It's been awesome. I love bringing these videos. I love recommending games to you guys. And yeah, as always, guys, let's continue to recommend games for your collection.